I'm back and ready and raring to go for another year of BTP videos. I was thinking about just before, I was like, I've been doing these videos since 2018. That is a very long time. Like, this will be our 8th year of recording weekly videos. I'm a little bit slow to start this year. I was hoping to start like 2 weeks ago or whenever it was at the start of February. Yeah, work's been a little bit cray-cray. Like, that sniff of dropping interest rates has just sent everyone bonkers. It's been a little bit mental on the work front, so I've had to keep, unfortunately, kicking the can down the road and going, yeah, okay, videos, we'll get to that next week. Anyway, this week I was like, nah, I really want to kickstart this process. Like, I really enjoy doing these videos and posting these videos, so let's rip the Band-Aid off and let's make it happen. So, what am I going to talk about this week? Well, this week I kind of want to go down a slightly different tangent, and I don't want to focus on town planning specifically. So, what I want to talk about, well, what I want to do is kind of give you guys a bit of a peek behind the curtains, let's just say, and answer the question, how does BTP as a one town planner firm process so many jobs? Now, where does this question stem from? If you don't know, it kind of feels like it's a bit of random, a bit out of nowhere type thing. For those of you that haven't seen, this LinkedIn post has been doing the rounds. Now, I got sent the screenshot, I don't know, a week ago, 2 weeks ago from a colleague. She sent it to me, she was like, have you seen this? At that point, no, I hadn't. I was like, what's this? And then ever since then, I've just been bombarded with people sending me the screenshot, tagging me, talking to me about it, all that sort of stuff. So it's absolutely gone bonkers and bananas. Like, I haven't jumped in and checked the original post yet, but I'm sure it is going off. It's going viral because I just feel like I'm hearing about it from everyone. Now, when I first saw this screenshot, I'm going to be honest, mixed emotions. So, and obviously, end result, I love it. I wouldn't have shared it on our Instagram page if I didn't love it. But initially, mixed emotions. So the first thought that went through my mind is it's kind of like a hot girl ranking type thing. I'm not for 1 second saying I'm a hot girl here, but it was one of those things where it feels like everyone's talking about you, everyone's ranking you, and you kind of have no control over it, no say over it. It's very public. It just feels a bit weird. So yeah, that was my first reaction. Obviously, when I look at it, I'm like, these numbers, they make me look good. I feel like a hot girl right now. So I looked at it and went, okay, despite the awkwardness of feeling like everyone's ranking you and talking about you, because at the end of the day, BTP, a one town planner firm, BTP is me at the forefront. I'm like the face of the business, all that sort of stuff. It's essentially me that's being ranked. It felt really weird. But yeah, when I looked at it, I was like, those numbers work to my advantage. I'm going to let this roll. And then secondly, it was kind of like, I feel like for so many years, I've kind of flown under the radar. Like, you can look at our Instagram page, you can see some of the posts that I do in terms of day in the life of town planner, and you can see that I'm running around like a headless chalk from meeting to meeting to meeting, etc. Or I've done posts where I've talked about the crazy number of applications we're trying to get in the lead up to me going on holidays, etc. So you can obviously look at those posts and go, hold on a sec, there's a bit of work going on here. But I still flew under the radar. Like, I'd even talked to council officers, and I distinctly remember one phone conversation last year, and the assessment manager was like, I've got all of your applications at the moment. And I'm sitting there just going, you got like 4 of our applications. You don't have all of our applications. You guys don't know what we're doing, do you? So yeah, it was one of those moments where I was just like, I like flying under the radar. Like, I like not ambiguity, unexpected, I can't think of the word right now, but I like just the lack of expectations, the lack of pressure. Like, it was a great place to play in. So yeah, obviously when I saw this, I was just like, nope. Everyone now knows very clearly what we're doing in terms of volume of work and all of that sort of stuff. Yeah, there's no hiding now. I can't play the underdog card quite so much anymore. But the flip side to that, just like the hot girl ranking thing, the flip side is it actually builds the credibility, the trust. People are now like, okay, if you're doing that volume of applications, even though you're sitting there in fat or using fat suits or costumes and all that sort of stuff that I do in the video, try and add a bit of fun to help explain the points and everything. Even though I'm doing that weird stuff, there must be a bit of substance to what I'm doing here type thing. So anyway, mixed emotions, like I said, got through that and just went, you know what, it's out there in the universe, you can't take it back. And like I said at the beginning, I don't want to take it back now, I see the positives in it, but you can't take it back, so let's embrace it. Let's talk about it. So today's video question is one that's come up from a lot of people since. They've looked at those numbers and just been like, you're a one town planner firm. And those other firms there, they're not one town planner firms. How are you doing that volume? So I thought, yeah, like I said, give you a peek behind the curtains, give you some insight into how I run my business. Now, 2 things up front. First and foremost, I want to make it very, very clear. This is not one of those situations where I'm going, my poo don't stink, like I got my, watch my language here, my stuff sorted. Like I did a catch up with the building designer earlier today. He just wanted some ideas and insight into what I do admin wise and all of that sort of stuff. And one of the first comments he said to me is, I want to know how you've got everything sorted and how you go about making it all work so well. And I'm like, I don't have it all working well. Like there is so many things in my business that I would love to change and fix and improve. And I've just got a ridiculous number of ideas. Like if you were to sit down and look at my to-do list in terms of medium priority list, there is a ridiculous amount of stuff there that I know I need to fix or I want to fix in my business. So I'm not going to sit here for 1 second and go, I got my poop sorted. I know it's like I've got it all sorted. It's not like that at all. So that's the first thing. The second thing I wanted to say was, and now I've drawn a mental blank. What was I going to say? Oh, that's right. I'm not going to share everything. Let's be honest here. I'm going to give you a bit of insight into what we do, but I'm not going to sit here and totally rip the doors open and be like, look at everything. Girl's got to keep something secret, right? Like I can't share all my secrets in such a public forum. So yeah, okay, those two things done. Let's kick off with how would I describe my admin? I would describe my admin as eliminate, automate, and delegate. That's just my general approach to admin. So the first thing I do is I look at something and go, okay, is this thing adding value in terms of customer experience, customer service, and all that sort of stuff? Or is it adding value in terms of making me more efficient, improving my accuracy, all of that sort of stuff? If it's not, it gotta go. Like I do not want to waste time on that sort of thing. If it can't be eliminated, if there is a value add, then the next thing I'm thinking is, can I automate it? Now, I use automation in my business in a lot of different ways. Let me just check the time, 6 minutes. We've got plenty of time to chat. Then this year I want to try and make my videos a bit shorter. We'll see how I go. But anyway, next thing is, can I automate it? And I'll go into that in a second as to how we automate within the business or some of the ways. And then the final thing is, okay, if it can't be automated and if it is still important, you can't eliminate it, okay, how do I delegate it down to Kim, etc., so that there is less pressure on me, less requirements on me, etc., etc., etc. So like I suggested, today what we're going to talk about is the automate section. In particular, I'm going to share with you 3 different ways that I use automation within my business. So first and foremost, Charlie. So going back 2018, I think it was, Charlie is the nickname, by the way, for our automated site assessment reports / a few other automated type tools in the business. So Charlie, back in 2018, I was overwhelmed. I was really struggling with the number of inquiries coming into the business. And as a result, I wasn't getting all the information I should be getting. I was cutting corners, I was taking risks, didn't like that at all. So for example, I'd sit there and just be like, I'm just gonna assume there's no easement on the property because I do not have time to go and check the easements. Or I'm just gonna assume there's no SARA referrals to state government input on this property, etc., etc. So I didn't like that. So number 1, a resource drain. Number 2, opening me up from a risk perspective. Number 3, not great customer service. You get the idea. So I was like, there's got to be a better way here. So back in the early days, and it has been a massive evolution over time. Like I keep saying to people, this automation did not appear magically overnight. It's taken a long time to get here. It's evolved and iterated over time. But the big sort of starting point was a tool which mimicked human movements, let's just say. So basically the mouse would go up, click on the browser, type in the specific website, hit enter, go to a button, hit enter, type the address in, hit enter, click here, blah, blah. So it mimics the human processes to generate a report at the end, which basically spoon-fed me the information that I needed on the property. That has since iterated, and we've now got our own mapping program that we feed the raw data into. So we get the raw data from the Brisbane City Council data sets, the state government data sets, all the electrical data sets, everything basically, and pull it all into this one mapping program, and then it spits out a report at the end. And that is what we call our Charlie report. So that is awesome because it just gives me everything on a silver platter that I need to do that initial assessment on a property. It definitely doesn't go detailed level, like it doesn't dive into development eye. It does show you the applications, but it doesn't dive into those specific details of the applications, etc., etc. So yeah, that's one way we've automated. Second way is a little thing called Zapier. So basically we use Jotform as our client agreement online form builder. We use that, and then we have Zapier in the background. Zapier is an off-the-shelf connector, let's just say. So it connects different programs. So basically, once you fill in the online form, Zapier takes the data from that online form, goes into Google Drive, which is our project storage system, goes in there and creates a folder with that site address name. Goes into that folder and creates a subfolder called lodgement documents. And then it goes into Xero, which is our financial management system, and it creates a client card for that client. Then it goes in and drafts an invoice with that client card attached to it. And then it goes into ClickUp, which is our project management system. We've just changed from Teamwork. So it's into ClickUp, and it goes and creates individual tasks for me, for Kim, etc., etc. You get the idea. Basically, it filters out through all of our various different programs that we use, and it it just filters that information through this so that we don't need to manually input it. Then from there, so that's Zapier, and then the next layer of automation we have in the business is it's kind of derived from Charlie. It started with Charlie and just evolved from there, and it's a tool that essentially writes our assessment reports for us, the base part of our assessment reports. So it works on a if this, then that type thought process. So what it does is it goes, okay, well, you've got this zone with this overlay. In combination, it means you need this answer option to go into the assessment report. And then, okay, but in this job, you've got these 3 overlays, which are problematic overlays. Okay, that's a different answer option that comes in. So it basically creates this base template, which is site specific. And then I go in as the town planner and add the town planning justification, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that is 3 ways that I automate within my business. Again, going back to the original principle, which is eliminate, automate, and delegate. They're the 3 ways that I do automation within my business. There's some other stuff, but they're the key ones. Now, the main reason that I wanted to share this with you guys today is to, I wouldn't say drive inspiration. That sounds very wanky. Like, again, I go back to the point, I don't think my shit don't stink. But I thought, especially off the back of that conversation I had with the building designer today, that Zoom call, talking through the admin, I thought, maybe there's some of you out there at the moment that are going, you know what, I need some ideas, I need some direction, I need some inspo, is the best way to say it, to try and guide me and direct me forward, because I want to try and explore some new ideas, try and do things better, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm not saying copy me, I'm just saying hopefully that gives you some ideas for inspiration within your own business. Anyway, I think that covers off everything I want to talk about today. As I always like to say, until next time, thanks for watching.
For all you red tape lovers out there, I have one thing to say. Well, no, actually, I've got 3. Number 1, the advice provided in these videos is general in nature. It's not site specific. You would be a silly Billy to go and make financial decisions based on this advice without first checking with the town planner. Don't be a silly Billy. Number 2, Brisbane town planning is in no way linked to Brisbane City Council. The views expressed in these videos are my own, not council's. So if you don't like them, blame me, not council. Number 3, what was my number 3? Oh yeah, the views expressed in these videos are accurate at the time of recording. If you're watching this video back 10 years from now, the views may not be so accurate. That's all. Bye.